What is up, everyone? It is Balar, and today I'm going to talk about high-rolling submerged passage. So, what do I mean specifically when I say high-rolling submerged passage? Well, submerged passage is one of the few zones while we're doing a speed run or just trying to level quickly where we get to revisit the zone twice, and potentially from the first time we visit the zone, that is after we go in from mud flats, we can make some reads on what sort of layout we're going to be seeing. That means the second time we come back after killing Hillrake, towning, getting our quest gems, vendoring, we can use the fact that we've already seen the submerged instance to our advantage to decide whether or not we want to re-roll this. So I had the intuition over the course of running a ton of these that the right waypoints in general were quicker than the left waypoints, but I didn't really have any data to back this up except just how I intuitively felt about running the zone a bunch of times. And so I decided to do some testing, and it turns out that this actually is the case. Before we go sort of into that, what I want to talk about briefly is the layouts that you'll see in Submerged Passage. So there are 6 total layouts. I'm going to go over them mega quickly. We're going to refer to them as the right and left waypoint layouts. Right waypoints essentially mean that the waypoint is to the right of the entrance. This is the upstairs layout. You get sent up. We have the side stairs layout where you essentially go straight to the side to find the stairs, and the stairs point to the side. And then we have the right waypoint downstairs layout where you have to travel down or south pretty much to find the stairs, and the stairs generally will send you downwards again. Then we have the left waypoint layouts here where the waypoint is to the left of the entrance. We have the upstairs. We have the southeast stairs where it's to the southeast. I actually sort of shorthand call this the side stairs, and that's what I call it in my data set, where you'll go down and you'll find the stairs to the side, and they go off to the side. And then we have the left waypoint downstairs layout, where it's pretty much south from the waypoint to get to the exit, and the stairs send you a little bit down again as well. So those are all the layouts we're talking about. Now, when we're talking about high rolling, like I said, I did a bunch of tests on to see if it was good to actually roll this again. So I'm going to pull up this data set right here as we look at it. And so what I did was I did 10 runs for each layout as I found them. 10 runs for each layout is not a huge sample size, but it's good enough for me to sort of confirm what I had thought before. So as we look at it, the best average finishing time for these layouts is 35 seconds, and some spare change, almost 36 seconds. And the worst is the left waypoint downstairs layout, which is just over 50 seconds average. So when we're looking at the average here for the right waypoints, it's about 40.5 seconds, and this is almost 44 seconds. So when we're thinking about this, you can sort of see that the right waypoints are, on average, for the 3 right waypoints that we have, a little quicker than the left waypoints. So when we're talking about high rolling, one of the strategies that you can go for is you can try and re-roll to get the best possible outcome you can, which in this case, as a practical matter, means anytime you see a left waypoint, you just re-roll it the first time to a right waypoint. You shouldn't keep trying to re-roll it because you're going to lose time, right? There's only like about a 15-second difference between the best and worst, but 15 seconds makes a pretty big difference sometimes. We also have to account for the fact of like how long it takes to re-roll an instance in the first place. So I found just by testing it a few times, it's about a second to a second and a half. And that was not me like having practiced it or trying to be quick about it. I'm sure you could be a lot quicker than that because the sort of the create new instance enter button as you pull up the overlay is pretty close to where the waypoint minimap is anyways. So I'm sure you can get pretty quick at like flicking over there if you really wanted to. I don't think it's like super necessary. So we talked about one possible strategy about re-rolling try and get the best outcome you can, which is the right waypoint side stairs. And you'll do this anytime you see the left stairs. There's a second strategy which essentially amounts to the same thing, which is you want to try and get the best average rolls. And if that's the case, you want to re-roll it anytime you see a left waypoint because the average rolls for the right waypoints are faster, right? Finally, the last strategy, and this is a bit more of an advanced strategy as you think about it, and it's a strategy where what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid the worst outcomes rather than find the best outcomes. With this strategy, what you're doing is as you go in to Submerged Passage, and I'll just go in here, if you're in a left waypoint, you want to check to see if you can see any sort of content generated to the west from the waypoint. If you see any content, you are not going to be in the left downstairs layout, which is the worst layout, clocking in on an average time of about 50 seconds. And because you're on the left side, you're going to avoid the right waypoint downstairs layout, which is about 46.5 seconds or so. But this only works if you're able to see content on the other side as you get to the waypoint. And not in all circumstances where you're going to be in the left side stairs or the left upstairs, which will have content over this way, you'll be able to see them from the waypoint. So you don't necessarily know. However, if you do see content, you can think to yourself, okay, I'm going to avoid re-rolling because I know, like, as this current setup, I'm either going to be in the left upstairs or the left side stairs, and neither of those are particularly bad. So, for example, as I look at the data for the left upstairs, it's 39 seconds. This is like 41.82. That's significantly faster than the left waypoint downstairs for sure, and it's somewhat faster than the right waypoint downstairs. So with that being said, those are a couple ways you can think about using this strategy. Now let's talk about some potential complications or downsides. So even though like this timing window like works out, when I did this testing, I tried to control conditions as much as possible. And what I mean by that is I first revealed the map of Submerged entirely so I could choose the best layout. I killed all the mobs so I wouldn't get body blocked or anything like that, or have to spend time attacking as I was running through the layout. And I did the layout runs without using any movement speed increases. So I had a character that had a base movement speed of 0 and was just trying to run through the zones as fast as possible. The test conditions are fully listed out here, but those are the important ones as we're talking about this. So how it matters as a downside here is perhaps the way I tested this is not going to be fully reflective of how fast these layouts are in actual situations where you can use movement skills. You have Quicksilver and you have Onslaught. However, that's a bit harder to test, so I just wanted to keep it simple here. The second thing you need to consider is how good you are at reading layouts. The left layouts are a lot easier to know where you're at and what layout you're in within 2 or 3 seconds after leaving the waypoint compared to the right waypoints, which can take a little bit more time to develop. So if you're not that comfortable with reading layouts, maybe the high roll strategy isn't going to actually net you any time. Now, the other thing at the end of the day we're talking about is, this is happening in the context of a run, right? When you're trying to go as fast as possible, it might be really hard to remember to do this. And even though, I've been thinking about and trying out the strategy a little bit, I don't do it in every run, even when like the conditions are right for me to do it, because it's just easy to overlook things with how much you have going on, especially at that submerged, sort of teleport, because I personally think that's the point in most speedruns where you have the most things to try and manage between gem swaps, navigating the submerged zone, and just inventory management. So those are a couple of things, or a few things to think about when we're going through this. So in summary, high rolling Submerged Passage is a viable strategy if you're on the left waypoint side, if you're trying to go for the best layout, which is the right waypoint side stairs by a fair margin. It's about 3 seconds faster than the second best layout, and it's a lot faster than the 2 worst layouts. After that, you can also think about doing this strategy as a way to try and get the best average start, which is, if you're in your left waypoint, right waypoints are generally faster than left waypoints, not by a ton. So maybe this isn't a huge consideration. And then finally, we sort of have the advanced strategy where you can try and reduce your chance of getting the worst outcome by looking to see whether or not there is content generation to the left or west of the waypoint in the left setup, to sort of rule out the left downstairs and the right downstairs layouts and just sort of run with that, so you reduce your variance in terms of getting the worst layouts. Hopefully this has been thought-provoking, and I have included the data and sort of some other things that I think are relevant to the discussion in the description below. All right, everyone. Hope this helps.